Just waiting notification. Perfect. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this evening. We have an incredible guest with us tonight, one who's going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration, and that is none other than the student sister captain, Diane, out of Buffalo, New York. Assalamu alaikum, ma'am.
Wa alaikum salam.
Thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on the People's Podcast. It means a lot to myself, my family, and the viewing audience. My sister Miriam just says, Assalamu alaikum, alaikum salam, ma'am. Okay, so let's get straight into it. When was the first time that you heard the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
Yes, sir. Before that, Brother Josh, I want to thank you for bringing me on. We're like family. You know, student regional minister Sharif Muhammad is the one that married me and my husband in 2012. Okay. Absolutely. We still together, Brother Sharif.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
So praise be to Allah. And of course, your dear mother, before I came on the show, my courage was a little low. So I love from the Wiz, the Lion, and I get my courage up. And every time I hear it, it makes me think of your mom. So praise be to Allah. May Allah be blessed with, may be pleased with her work. The Nation of Islam, I came in the Nation of Islam in 1983, 1984. So it's going on 40 years. Praises due to Allah. Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, but when did you first hear the teachings?
It was back in 1983. I was introduced to the teachings by a member in the Nation of Islam at that time. And Jesse Jackson was running for president at that time. Okay. But even before that, you know, I was just a lost young girl. And actually, I heard the voice of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And I'm like, I think I like this preacher. But I didn't know in the beginning that he was actually one of the ones that the world have been waiting and looking for, you know. So as I went on, it started to dawn on me, no, he's not a fake. This is the real deal. And like I said, it's going on 40 years. One thing I humbly brag about is my consistency in the Nation of Islam, because it actually saved my life. So I don't put anything before the Nation of Islam, nothing. So
beautiful. And people are showing you love all across the country. Both of my sister Miriam and Naima both say beautiful. And Brother Nelson Ramos says, Assalamu alaikum, beautiful people. Alaikum salam, sir. Hold it down from Massachusetts. Okay, so when you say it actually saved my life, could you expound?
Well, when I was 16, I was pregnant with my son. I was kicked out of high school the first day, the first day of high school. And that is the day that I really wanted to go to school, because me and my brother used to fool around all through high school, just skipping school. The school actually thought my mom's was dead because we just had so many excuses why she couldn't come to school after we were suspended. So the day I was kicked out, of course, I was pregnant, but that was the day I really wanted to go to school. So back in those days, they had adult learning centers. And when you go to an adult learning center, they put the book in front of you, and it's really your duty and responsibility to pick it up. So I didn't let it sit there. I was so, I say ashamed, for lack of a better word, that I had went through school not learning. And now as a young girl, with my being told that my reading level was on the 3rd grade level, I was just really ashamed. So once I got into the adult learning center, I knew that I had to change that, you know. So I opened the book. I believe I came into the teachings maybe 2 years later, a year later, and hearing the voice of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, of course, upliftment is going to start there, from hearing the voice of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And then 2 years later, even before the self-improvement came out, I was like a self-improvement guru because I wanted to change my life. So a lot of the things that Napoleon Hill, Dwayne Dyer, Ernest Hearn, some of the things they were saying, I was into it. But when the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan came out with the self-improvement, I mean, the world just opened up for me. I knew that was it because I don't know Dwayne Dyer. I don't know Ernest Hearns. I don't know Napoleon Hill, but I know the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I know the goodness of his heart, and I know the divinity of him. So I just went heads in. And to be honest, brother Joshua, I study self-improvement every day of my life and to this very moment.
Okay,
Yes, sir. So I swear by the self-improvement study guides. And again, taking that young girl that was on the 3rd grade level, got into all kinds of trouble. And this is the product that you see right now. All praises is due to Allah. So brother Joshua, I have a desire looking at that young girl that was confused and didn't know up from down. I'm an advocate, or I want to give back to the community. Those young girls that's confused, that want to know the truth and want to know the right way to go. I want to be an example for them. So I have a desire to take, and with your help, thank you, is to take self-improvement to the world. And like Napoleon Hill did for Dale Carnegie, I want to take the self-improvement, to our people, Black people, that we've been robbed of knowledge and everything, and take it to our people. And if they really want to change their lives, then I can help them do that. Minister Farrakhan did a self-improvement study guide. I call them the 21 steps to self-mastery. So if you want to master self, if you want better from self, definitely get a hold of the self-improvement study guides. Like anything else that has chapters, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has given us 21 steps to, again, master yourself, improve yourself. So much love for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the self-improvement study guides.
Oh, praises due to Allah. Beautiful. Yes, we have people showing you love all across the country. Your husband is in the comments. Sister Anita Rose is in the comments. All praises to Allah. And Sister Sonia says all praises to Allah. Or Sonia, I think it's all pronounced Sonia, so all praises to Allah as well. Beautiful. Yes, now, have you ever had the opportunity to interact with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan?
On many occasions, I actually was on the hostess team when he came to Buffalo. In the lecture that evening, I was bearing witness so hard. I always do on most of the tapes. Next to the Rock of the South, you will probably hear Sister Diane. But when the minister came to the hotel room, and when I opened the door, before that, I was like, Brother Josh, I was wondering, what am I do? I'm going to open the doors. I'm going to kiss his feet as I'm going to bow to him. And when I opened the door, when I went to bow, the minister had beat me to the bow. Just to show the humility of him. But anyway, when he seen me, he said, "Dig on my sister with that spirit." So I'm looking for a Muslim name that means spirit, because he just motivated me when he say that. And of course, I'm very passionate about, just very passionate. But he called me that sister with that spirit. So I'm going to take it as that. So that was one occasion. Like I said, many occasions, got this chance to meet the minister. I remember one time, Brother Joshua, through the self-improvement, the struggle, I was up and down. The struggle is not going to happen in a week. It's not going to happen in a day. It depends on what you give to it. And it took me like 40 years before it clicked, and I was like, yes, I can submit now, But one time I was really going through something, like I had deviated again. So I'm like, okay, when I see the minister this time, I'm gonna be that woman that grabbed Jesus, the hem of his garment. So Brother Captain Dennis, he used to tell his sisters, don't sweat the minister. But anyway, I got a chance to get up on the minister, and I was holding his coattail or the back of his suit. I don't know if he felt me or not. He probably did. But ever since then, it's like my self-improvement started to improve more, because it's like the woman in the scripture. She said, if I touch the hem of his garment, I will be healed. And I said the same thing. I said, I'm going to see if this work. And I have to be honest that my improvement improved. Very much improved. So that's a very something I will always remember about the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And the last thing that I was in trouble one time. I had a daycare. One of my daycare children was murdered by the mother and her boyfriend. And of course, they needed a scapegoat, when they came to the house and they see me teaching the children about how far the planets was and how far speed travel. And you see the messenger and the minister all over the daycare. They said, we got to shut her down. So they used me as a scapegoat when a young girl was murdered. But anywho, I had lost my mother and father. When my mother was living, I had lost my father. So I was telling Brother Minister, student minister, Brother Mark in Syracuse, New York, I'm like, they falsely arrested me. And I'm like, call my father. And he like, Sister Diane, your father is dead. And I'm like, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So he got a hold of the minister. And of course, the minister's secretary called me, and I got a chance to speak to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And he even helped me with my defense at that time, even though I knew they didn't have anything. They wind up giving me community service. I've been in the nation 15 years. How much community service can you give me? So I was done with that in 2 weeks. But like I said, that he did take care of something on my towards my defense, which the lawyer was so happy. But I told him that's the last check he gonna get from the minister, so he better frame it and hang it on the wall. So all praises due to Allah with that. The minister just told me to seek assistance through patience and prayer, which I did. It was a wonderful time. I refused to be sworn in on the Bible. I told them I brought my own Quran, and they did swear me in on the Quran. So praise be to Allah. So those are the times that really stick out for me with the minister.
Beautiful. All praises to Allah. Yes, ma'am. And that's, I really am inspired, of course, by your whole testimony, but the being sworn in the Holy Quran, that's beautiful as well. Yes, ma'am. All right. My next question for you is, have you ever faced fear? And if so, how have you overcome that fear?
The only fear that I faced was not being successful as a Muslim, not meeting this goal that I had to become a Muslim. That was my biggest fear, the ups and downs and back and forth with that. But I had to just stay the course. And then when Allah showed me sunlight, like, yes, my habits, that I didn't have those habits no more. So I really had much courage, because that was my biggest trials, and my biggest holdbacks was my own personal habits. And why I love self-improvement, well, one reason I wanted to mention Sister Student Minister Dr. Ava Muhammad, excuse me if I got everything mixed up, but I met Sister Ava, may Allah be pleased with her, back in 1997. And of course,
Mm.
she was a minister and whatnot. And I went up to her and I'm like, Sister Ava, I want to be a minister. What do I do? And she like, keep studying. And it was a lot of opposition at that time with around the sister. So she like, just keep studying. And if you want to be a minister, you want to do self-improvement, just stay the course. And so Sister Ava, definitely, other than Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, is my two greatest inspirations when it comes to the self-improvement. And if you can see, I have her behind me. She's a part of my mastermind team. So sometimes I got to go up in her brain or my brain and ask for help and whatnot. So that's that. I forgot, what was the question?
Have you ever been faced with fear? And if so, how did you go over
that? Just that. But now today, of course, self-improvement, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan says that the only fear that is necessary, and that is the fear of Allah. So even with this, Brother Joshua, I felt like I was Jonah running, and I kept, my whole thing is self-improvement. I got to talk to the young people, so Allah was like, what you gonna do? I'm not stopping you. Challenge your fear. And I thought about you, and I thought about your show, and I said, okay, Allah, I'm gonna challenge my fear. So here I am. But no, just reading and looking at the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, courage, strength, and how he stand up to this beast. And I remember one day seeing him in the audience, and I said, I want to be just like that. I don't want to have no fear. So I'm on my way. I'm on my way, looking at the minister, and he telling us that we can do it, stand up to this beast, so I'm challenging my fear every day. Of course, we're going to be hit with fear in the different things every day, like the self-improvement study guides. The reason I study them every day, because something is always coming up. Sometimes I have to deal with the struggle for balance, being a mother, a captain, a grandmother, trying to be a business person, and, the house and the cooking and different things like that. And when I get overwhelmed, I go to the study guys and I say, wait a minute, how did Allah do it? How Allah balancing the planets and the galaxies and this and that? If he can do it, because he put a part of himself in us, so I should be able to balance the different things that I have to deal with. So, so just dealing with those study guides, whatever I'm faced with is a study guide that's dealing with that. A lot of times rising above emotions. Black people is a very emotional people. And, just dealing with it, I have to catch myself and say, the minister said, rise above emotion into the thinking of God. And when I do that, I tell myself, listen, this individual don't give me nothing. They can't keep anything from me. That belongs to Allah. So I have no reason to fear or, to fret or anything like that. So the study guides is just a meal to constantly feed on and to go back to when you need it. We always going to deal with difficulties, and the minister tells us after difficulties comes ease. The difficulties is going to be like night and day. And we know night and day is something that is real consistent. So we got to learn how to deal with whatever the difficulty situation is. The minister said, look at it, assess it, and then call on your being, the power that Allah has given you in this body, and overcome it. And overcome it.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, praise be to Allah. Sister Diane, are you going into the ministry as well? I know you're student captain. Go to the ministry.
I think my grandfather was a minister. I know he had a brush with the Nation of Islam. I had his scrapbook when he passed, and I hate that I think it got burnt up in the fire. But anyway, I seen a picture of Mas Mariam in his scrapbook. And something else about my grandfather, when I used to come to Detroit as a little girl, he always used to call me black girl. Come here, black girl. And I used to cry But once I got older, because he was Black as me, so he couldn't. So once I got older, I said, oh, he was teaching me something about loving the Blackness of my skin, So I think I thought I was the first Muslim, but when I found my grandfather's scrapbook, I'm like, oh, silly you. Silly you. So yes, sir. I have the desire. I spoke today at the mosque. I got a chance to speak at Atlanta's mosque twice. I mean, so praise be to Allah. That was one of the high points for me in Atlanta. And of course, with Atlanta, I got the opportunity to drill for the first time on the stage. And I remember practice with you as well as the Vanguard, and I was like, y'all was rough. We came in third place. I was so happy because I had a desire to be on the stage. And I was actually on the stage. I had a desire to speak from Minister Sharif's rostrum in Atlanta, and I got the opportunity to do that, so hey, you can do that with self-improvement. Nothing is holding you back from whatever your dreams and goals are. It's just wonderful. And especially if we can really appreciate the self-improvement study guides. Now, this is Sister Diane saying this, but I believe that when the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan had the vision-like experience and went to the wheel, and something was put in him because he was rubbing his thigh, and that scroll that was scrolled in it, I believe it was the self-improvement study guides. That's what I believe. The study guides kind of hint to it, but that's what Sister Diane believed. So even after 25 years, I was reading them yesterday, and I was like, it seemed like it was the first time I was reading it. But it dawned on me that knowledge is, the minister says in a self-improvement study guide, knowledge is infinite. So we cannot think whatever it is, oh, I know this. Like the minister said, when you go out in search of knowledge, you actually in the path of God. So you're never going to return. You're never going to return. So they just so pregnant. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, we know who he is, but we got to get into his word. We cannot take that word for granted. He don't want us sitting back worshiping him. He want us to be able to, like Brother Doc V spoke today on the apostles. The apostles, after that ascension, they became able to open the eyes of the blind and to cause the deaf to hear and the lame to walk. That's what we're supposed to be doing with these teachings, with the masses of our people that's out there that don't know. We have a duty and responsibility to them. And that's what the minister wants. He never wanted us to sit back and to praise him and to worship him. He different from other preachers. The other preachers hold the congregation down. Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan actually come and lifts us up, lifts us up. So praise be to Allah.
Yes, ma'am. Well, Sister Captain is teaching right now. People bear witness in the comments. Man, I love your spirit. Thank you very much. Beautiful. All praise to Allah. Okay, we're coming back. We have a few more questions for you, ma'am. But we have a quick 60-second commercial break for all of the sponsors of the People's Podcast this month. I want to thank everyone who have liked, shares, and subscribes. Shout out to all the anonymous
television and film editing. Please reach out to him if you need any of those services. Sister Miriam's ABC I Love Me children's book and coloring book, and now Spanish book, all three available on Amazon.com. Sister Naima's Stay on Point Dance Academy, LLC. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country, right here in the studios of Atlanta, Georgia. Robert L. Muhammad's Conflict Mediation, squashing the beast throughout the Southwest region. He does a phenomenal job. His wife, Sister Fudia Muhammad's Giving Birth to a God and the Science of Child Rearing. Please make sure you go out and get a copy of her book as well. Capt, Chemistry 6 episode, a new television series out on YouTube. He's looking for actors and writers. Make sure you support him. Keep It Hood, helping others overcome depression. Also by Taj Hollywood. Brother Aaron's Elevated Places, stress management, real estate, credit, repair, and restoration. His Respect for Life Center. They do personal wellness, philosophy, emotional, and mental spiritual wellness. 229-344-1474. Dr. Henry Carter's King Henry Turkey Legs, right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Brother Rashad Muhammad's COVID-19 Disinfected Cleaning Services, out of Chicago. Student Minister Sharif Muhammad's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ, available on adulsharif.com. And lastly, Brother Joshua Muhammad's book, Cleopatra, as well as No Father, No Excuse, both available on Amazon.
Perfect. All right, back to Student Captain Diane. Our next question for you, ma'am, is what has been the greatest trial in your life and how have you overcome that trial?
The greatest trial. I don't know. Just at the moment, some things that I want to do, like now, I'm trying to get back to my 120.
Yes, ma'am.
As far as weight. So it's something that I'm very serious about. So I said, let's just make it happen. So I'm trying to call on, like the Honorable Minister Min Farrakhan says, just to call on those forces inside of you and, make it happen. So being obedient to the strict diet of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the 1 meal a day, the no snacking in between. This is self-improvement. Self-improvement is about improving yourself. And where people get it mixed up when it comes to self-improvement, they say, he or she or they, and I say, no, it's self-improvement. You have to look at yourself and look at the defects of yourself, and you got to improve self. So the minister said, when you find a spot, say all praises due to Allah and apply some spot remover and keep it moving. So right now it's a trial. It's not a great trial, but it's a trial, something that I want to I'm gonna overcome at this point. So that in just trying to consume all of Allah's wisdom, which that's not going to happen. So that's a huge trial. But all praises due to Allah on the serious side. Just out in the study of just knowledge, wisdom, period, it's just wonderful. And it's something you just got to take day by day and, just take pieces of it, because we're never going to know it all. We're never going to be able to do it all. But the thing is trying to master self. I can say that's the greatest trial, Brother Joshua. Me mastering myself, understanding the value of myself, understanding the majesty of self. Today I was speaking to the sisters and the brothers, and I was talking about the value of the female. Study guide number 19B is the key to the kingdom of God, and it's talking about the female. So I asked the question, why is the female the key to the kingdom of God? Then I started thinking about her womb. Brother Joshua, other than a female, where else can you if you look at her as the earth, when you put a seed in the earth is going to give you back whatever that is, an apple seed, an orange seed, a banana seed, in the female, that's the only place. When you put a seed there in her womb, she can produce brain. She can produce bones. She can produce blood. She can produce nails. She can produce. It's nowhere else on the planet that you can find an individual that able to do that. So in her is the secret of God, because we are taught that the woman is the second self of God. So if the secret is in the woman, which it talks about in the Bible, which us thinking we can master the woman. And as the minister said in the study guide, you look at this world is in the shape it is in because it don't have the compassion of the female, the love of a female, the mercy of a female. The female's voice isn't in politics and religion and different things like that. But in her womb, she's co-creator with the law of God. She worked with God to bring forth a Moses and a Jesus and a Muhammad and a sister Diane and a brother Joshua and a brother Sharif and a sister Ava, only in the womb of a female that can take place. So again, these study guides is just pregnant with information that will help you to improve yourself and to understand, because being in this wicked world, it's like a big puzzle that we had to figure out, and the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is, you can't understand it, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad or the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, unless you're a scriptural person. So I can tell you all about the minister, but if you don't read the Bible, you don't read the Holy Quran, you're going to look at him as the next civil rights leader. And he's actually more than that. The bondage that we went to in the scripture, we was promised. God promised us, number one, that he was coming himself. So if you got a spooky concept of God, a mystery, a spook, you just missed the whole boat. But come to the nation, because that is what the enemy is working towards. He don't want you to know what the Nation of Islam has. He don't want you to know that Minister Farrakhan is really the Jesus in 2023, that you looking back 2,000 years for. When we told the man had hair like Sister Diane's, lamb's wool, skin was like burnt brass, but you still looking at Michelangelo's cousin or somebody. So, but one thing I want to say, praise be to Allah, to the young people on Facebook, and I think I heard Brother Rizza say this, that you hear Pookie on Facebook dropping Jews, waking everybody up. So we're waking up, so praise be to Allah, he kept his word that he was coming. God himself was coming, and he was going to bring us out with great substance, so that you don't have a dead Black man today. We're waking up quickly, and we need to, because we need to get our people back in the swing of things. And the way they have taken over our community here in Buffalo, the Black community, it's not even Black anymore, but that's our fault, because we was told to pull our resources. We was told to make our community a decent place, and we didn't do that. So Allah is showing us through another people how to do that, and the community that they're taking over is our community. But it's all good, it's fine, it's dandy, because when we decide, listen, we ain't supporting nobody but our own, it's gonna be a wrap for everybody. It's gonna be a wrap. Them trillions of dollars we have, it's gonna be to fund our own nation. So Allah is the best knower. He's the best knower.
Beautiful. All praise to Allah. You're teaching Sister Diane, and people showing love all across the country. Thank you, everyone who's showing love. They're saying fire, showing hearts, sisters, the women, like that's right, women's movement, motherhood, wombs, all that good stuff. All that good stuff. All right, this is Diane. My next question I wanted to ask you is, how did becoming a grandmother impact you?
Okay. This is interesting. I have one son, praise be to Allah, and I have 6 grandchildren. And 3 of my grandchildren is like half original. Which I had an issue with that at first. And I'm like, how he do this? He know I'm Black Power all for the people, right? And when I looked up in the face of Master Farad Muhammad. And he said, I'm half original. you know. So from that point, you know, I mean, they used to call me grandma. It took me a while to you know, grandma, you know, but that's what I am. But I say praise be to Allah, because like I said, I only had the one son and I wanted more, but Allah didn't permit it. And praise be to Allah. I understand why, because my life is dedicated to the Nation of Islam. Not to say it's not no mothers. I'm just saying, for me, Allah didn't want children tying me down, or me being a responsible mom. So I guess I have the whole world as children to teach at this point. So being a grandmother is wonderful. And even though, you know, my grandchildren, they hear this from me, but hopefully I have great grandchildren too. I have 3 of them. So my great grandchildren, when they come into the Nation of Islam, something to go off and say, you know what, my great grandmother was a Muslim and in the Nation of Islam. And when they hear about my 40 years and going on, still moving more in the Nation of Islam, when they start to pick my life apart, it's going to lead them to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. It's going to lead them to the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who is the Christ that's in our Bible. It's going to lead them to Master Farad Muhammad. It's going to lead them to self-improvement. You know, when they find out, oh, your grandmother was a self-improvement guru, they're going to want to know, what's that about? You know, so that's the legacy that I hope to leave with my grandchildren, as well as my family, which my family know, all of them know that I have been committed to the Nation of Islam, and they respect that. They love me for that. My mother loved me for that, loved the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. My father used to tell these fantastic stories that I was this special security for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I had to take karate and kung fu to not make my father a liar. So praise be to Allah for my family. Family is important. You know, sometimes people say, you know, the nation, that's my family. But when it's time to bury you, you're gonna need your family. They be calling the mosque. And I'm like, don't you have family? So I have a tight-knit family, and I do love my family. So praise be to Allah for that.
Praise be to Allah. And shout out to your son, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. People are showing you love so much in the comments. People saying, that's right, Sister Captain. My sister Miriam says, beautiful perspective. Those babies are your walk into the future. All praises to Allah. Excellent. The womb of God. All the good stuff. Secret of God. Come on now, you've been teaching, Sister Diane. My next question for you, ma'am, is what type of music do you listen to?
Old school. I like old school. If anybody on my Facebook, they know my birthday is coming up on Friday. Don't ask how old I am. I'm not sure. But my birthday is coming up, so I'm always DJing. It's another hidden gift that I have.
Okay.
Yeah. So I like old school. I started just listening to Korean music only because I was trying to get away from you know, the culture that Jewish people set up with Black music and Black television. So the old school, and like I say, I listen to music. I don't understand the words, but I know it's clean music. And of course, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan CD that I do have, the classical music. And that's about it. I kind of screen my music, what I watch, just like Marianne was told, to screen everything. You just can't listen and watch everything because it's on television, or, you know, somebody is playing it. No, if you disrespecting women, I don't care what color she is. If you disrespecting women, disrespecting children, if you're talking about drugs, if you're talking about weapons, you just don't get my ear or my brain. So, but I'm an old school person, old school.
Yes, ma'am. And people were showing love in the comments. Your husband says you like to listen to hip hop. Sister Sharifa K says she's just bearing witness. And people just showing you love all across the country. Can't wait to put this on YouTube.
Did he say I like listening to hip hop?
Yes, ma'am.
That's funny.
Janelle.
I guess hip hop.
Janelle E. Muhammad says, teach sister, watch what you eat mentality. There's a Korean artist called Kun Kan on YouTube, and that's a good listening. Korean artist called Kun Kan. Perfect. All right.
I don't even know how to spell it to pull it up.
I'll send it to you. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, ma'am. What would you like your legacy to be?
Just that I love the Nation of Islam, that I was just steadfast. I was a steadfast believer. I believe that I was born to help the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in this time. And just the teachings of the Nation of Islam. I mean, that's what, some of my friends would say, you still in the nation? Yes, I'm still in the nation. And I would die as a Muslim in the Nation of Islam if it's the will of Allah. And that's the legacy that I want to leave, as well as self-improvement. And again, taking it to the world, rather in Africa, it doesn't matter, wherever Allah sends me. So that's a desire that I have, and a legacy that I want to leave, like that great star of God, Sister Ava Muhammad. Beautiful sister. Of course, I know I can never walk in her shoes, but I can definitely be inspired by our sister. And thanking her for the self-improvement study guide, and just quoting something she mentioned in the self-improvement study guide, the introduction. She mentioned that study guides was coming after study guide 21. And I just named study guide 22 and 23 because she said they was based off of the minister's lecture. So I think the criterion in the Swan song is those two. That's what I'm studying now, though. I have included them, but she did mention that the minister's lecture. So
beautiful. All praises. So while people are showing you love all across the country, and Sister Sharifa K says, I love you, Sister Diane. Beautiful message, Sister Amanda. I think it's Sister Amanda saying. Okay, well, thank you all. You've done an amazing job. Sister Diane had one more question. Your parents' name. You never told us your mother and your father's name, ma'am.
Yes, sir. My mother's name is Estelle Somerville, and my father's name was Tommy Somerville, and he used to refer to himself as a jack of all trades, and I think that's where I get doing so many things from. But a jack of all trades is not. They say the jack of all trades is a master of nothing. That's not true. A jack of all trades is somebody that dibble and dabs in a bunch of different things, and an entrepreneur. So I think one more question, a story about my family. My mother, it was 8 of us. And of course, my mother wasn't a doctor, a lawyer, different things like that. The average family. I have a cleaning business, and one day I was cleaning one of the sisters' houses, beautiful house. And I'm like, Allah, why couldn't my mother have been a doctor, my father a lawyer? Why is I'm cleaning people's houses? And the thought from the self-improvement came to me where the minister was saying, you're judgmental. He tell us about having a judgmental state of mind. And I was actually judging my parents. And the thought came that if it wasn't for your mother waking y'all up every Saturday, it was mandatory that we clean the house on Saturday, you wouldn't be walking out of this place right now with $300 in your pocket. So after that, I was like, thank you, Mom. Thank you, Mom, for that entrepreneur business that I have. And I just want to say thank you, Brother Joshua, for having me on. You know, we're like family. Your moms used to get on me because I used to try to pay for her final call papers and didn't get them to her. And she used to get on me about, no, ma'am, you know, you have my papers, you send my papers. So I just love her so much, you know, because I'm like, you don't need to pay for papers, but she wasn't going for that. She like, no, ma'am, you're not gonna rob me of my blessings. And everybody else will hide when they see me come. Another thing, in Atlanta, I was the final call captain, the MGT final call captain. Brother Oliver, boy, when I was coming down the hall, he used to have a brother scattered. Move, let her come. I had a seat when I went in that office. But with the help of the MGT in Atlanta, Georgia, we did, when I left Atlanta, we had there 4,300 final calls, the MGT. So I'm proud of that. You know, Brother Oliver used to have a picture of me. He might have took it down. But I miss Atlanta, great city, family, for sure. So again, thank you, Brother Joshua, for giving me this opportunity. May Allah continue to bless you with success.
Yes, ma'am. Praise be to Allah. Please give your family the greetings as well. My sister Naima is showing you love in the comments. My sister Miriam says, our mom loved you more. Sister Diane, Sister Sharifa K said teach, and Sister Brenda Muhammad says all praises to Allah. Beautiful interview, beautiful knowledge drop. And Brother Dwight, your husband, is saying his wife hates his hip hop. She likes Oriental music. All praises to Allah. Beautiful. Yes, ma'am. So don't forget, Inkung Anking. My sister Mary's gonna put it in the group. She'll put it in the comments. This is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off for People's Podcast. Assalamu alaikum, ma'am.
Wa alaikum salam.
Thank you all for watching.
Assalamu alaikum.